Hi, my name is Jill Vanderwood. I'm the author of 14 books, and I'm doing a video series about self-publishing a book. My new book is called Purdy Franklin Mysteries Number 1, The Unkindness Club, and it will be published this year. Now, my experience with reading to classrooms goes all the way back 20 years. So when my first book came out, Through the Rug, my book was with the publisher, and I told my granddaughter Savannah that after the book is published, I would be glad to read to her classroom. Well, she went and told her teacher about the book, and the teacher said, "Tell your grandma to come and read to our classroom tomorrow." I said, "Tomorrow? I don't even have a book yet. How am I going to do that?" So I went over to the school and I talked to the teacher, and she said, "Well, can't you just print it off the computer and bring it over and read to our class?" And I said, "Oh, sure, I guess I could do that." So that's what I did. And I went the very next day and I started reading to a 5th grade classroom. And this was my first book, Through the Rug. It has since been published in the 10th anniversary edition. And now it's been 20 years. And the kids that I read to in the 5th grade then are adults and a lot of them have children of their own by now. And some of them are reading this book with their families now. So that first book was about to come out, and I went to the classroom. I had made some shirts that you might be able to see for Through the Rug, and I also made some stuffed dogs. Now, in this story, Through the Rug, the grandmother went to cooking school and she learned some magical formulas, and in one of the formulas, she turned her dog, which was black and white, into a pink and green dog. So I have some of these dogs that I bring for my demonstration with the classrooms. Now, I started reading to the classroom several times a week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and I'd read 1 or 2 chapters. And then at the end, the classroom would clap for me. And I had never had any experience like that before, so that was really fun. So at the end of reading Through the Rug, I was able to have each of the children write something that they liked about the story. And I took their comments and I had them printed in the front of the book. During my time reading, one of the scenes in my book has a song that they're singing, and as they sing, the fish come out of the water and dance. So I had the kids stand up and sing, "Did you ever see a fishy?" And we got through that, and then Savannah came up to me and said, "Grandma, that was so embarrassing." And I said, "I know, Savannah, I'm not a very good singer, I know." And she said, "No, Grandma, you wiggled your hips in front of my whole class." And some of the boys said, "Your grandma's got the moves." That's what embarrassed my poor little granddaughter. So this is a picture of my grandchildren during the time when we were doing Through the Rug, and each of them got to pose with one of the stuffed dogs. So during one of the scenes, the dog turns from pink and green to dark green and purple. And this is me 20 years ago. So that was a very fun experience. And from that, I learned a lot. And I was able to continue with that process. Each time I published a book for children, I would arrange to speak or to read to a classroom of 4th or 5th graders, and sometimes even 1st graders, depending on what grades my grandchildren were in at the time. So at the end, of this book process, I finally received my first copy of the book in the mail, and it happened to come the day before the last day of school. So I decided to go unexpectedly to the classroom and show the book to the students. And I got to pass it around and let them each see the cover and fan through the book. And then I read to the students the comments that they had made about Through the Rug. And it was really fun. Before I knew it, somebody came up and tapped me on the shoulder. And I turned around, and there was a young girl with a magic marker. And she said, "Will you sign my t-shirt?" And then all the rest of the students lined up. They had all worn oversized t-shirts for the last day of school, and they wanted me to sign their t-shirts. So I had my very first autograph session in a 5th grade classroom, signing the backs of students on their t-shirts with black magic marker. That's how I decided that I would always read to a classroom when I tried to publish a new book. This is the 7th in my series of videos, and thank you and have a great day.